Hello everyone and welcome to our nursery, what is officially now my favorite part of our home, which is wild to say because we have all of the Christmas decorations out downstairs, but I just feel so proud of this room and of my husband for doing all of the hard work that you're about to see, but I'm going to take all of the virtual credit today by showing you around and showing you the results, as well as a little before and after. So right now on my channel I'm doing Vlogmas, which I've done every year for like a decade now, but I'm really busy these couple of days, so I thought in place of a vlog we would go ahead and do a nursery reveal. So let me show you the before. I think this was actually possibly the most depressing room in the house when we moved in because the walls were very damaged. They were a strange sort of pinky primer color that I don't know if the before clip will really convey, and it was just very dark in here, and somehow the window seemed smaller to me than it did in other rooms, making the room feel kind of darker and gloomier. So I'm really pleased with the end result. It feels like a completely different room. I feel very at home here, and I feel like there's almost something that needs to be said at the beginning of a nursery video, which is, you know, I'm 9 months pregnant now, our daughter is fully baked and she decides when she comes now, but she's not going to be sleeping in this room really anytime soon, maybe not even for nap time for quite a while. So there's something always a little bit gratuitous about these nursery reveals that really actually not that many people end up using right away, at least. But I wanted to have a room that really felt inspired by her while I've been pregnant and things that I've just loved, and putting all of that together into a room that feels like a really pretty little jewel box for her and for me to enjoy as well. So that's sort of, you know, the funny thing about nurseries nowadays is she will be room sharing with us rather than being in here, and so accordingly everything you're going to see in this room too isn't particularly catered to safety right now, but rather more to aesthetics and, you know, practicality eventually as well in mind. I see myself using this room to come and hang out with her and breastfeed her and change her. Those are sort of the immediate purposes that it will be used for, but other than that, please don't worry about anything that you see that you deem unsafe by your standards or standards you've heard of, because it isn't meant to be. So here is the room. Let me show you around, show you all the little details, and maybe if some of you are moms or moms to be as well, you might find something useful that I've, you know, put some time into that will save you some time, hopefully. So a lot of these things that are in this room were definitely recommended by friends who've had babies and have found them to be very useful things, although ultimately I wonder how many things there really are for babies that are indispensable. So many of these things I think just make life easier and prettier for the sort of early babyhood experience. This is the view you get when you come into the room, and I don't feel like I can get any further into this video without sharing with you the wallpaper, because that is what I spent the most time on, and my husband as well. For me, purely selection based. I went through so many wallpapers. I wanted something that would be stick-on rather than pasted, but that was still beautiful and had a little bit of an inspired by decor kind of feel to it at a much lower price point. I really love Art Deco architecture and chinoiserie furniture, and have some throughout the house, although not in here. And so anything that kind of worked with that was my vision. I also didn't want to do pink. My mom actually did a lot of Cinderella blue and gray blue for me as a baby, and I've inherited a lot of those things. And so I didn't want a room that would be overwhelmingly pink, just my personal choice. And so I wanted something that would be light and airy, but still whimsical. And I think there is a different trend out there right now that I've seen a lot of for very kind of beachy or Scandinavian baby rooms, and this is a total opposite. So it's kind of fun for me to put this out there on the internet as well, honestly just for the sake of variety, to have a little bit of variation in terms of what's out there, because it is very different than that. Although that said, other than the beautiful wallpaper with the cranes. There actually isn't that much color in here. Almost everything else is cream or white or like a natural wood element, along with brass being the metal color that I chose for accents. Now, something that I really love about the room is that when the light is really bright in the morning, the wallpaper seems lighter blue, and then as the day goes on, as it gets to be much darker in here, it does come across more as gray blue. And it has different shades of it. You can see it's a little bit of a watercolor swirled effect, and that's one of my favorite parts of it, along with the shading that's on the birds, and then the choices that they give you too, because there's white, cream, gray, and black in there as well, all nice colors to pick up and sort of play with as well. And so accordingly, I got a chair that is definitely more of a cream color. It's a little glider, which I'll show you. This is definitely more of a splurge item. It reclines, it glides, it swirls every which way. And accordingly, something that sort of I recommend thinking about is how much clearance you'll need for your chair, because this is an oversized one. So I knew it would need some room for sure, because there's a lot of sort of roomy squishiness to this chair. It's really comfortable, but it needed a lot more clearance at the back and sides than I thought it would because of the gliding, reclining function of it. So something to keep in mind. I think at some point I had a few other pieces of furniture that I would have really loved to put in here. One is a vintage chinoiserie style cabinet with inlaid sort of carvings on it that's really beautiful, that would look really nice with the wallpaper, but that wasn't going to fit with the clearance that you need to be able to swirl the chair. And another one is a beautiful baby blue dollhouse that I grew up with. Both of these things may eventually make their way into her room as we switch things around, or you know, they just may be part of decorating other rooms for her. So the chinoiserie cabinet is now in our bedroom, which is actually undergoing a makeover right now with a new furniture set that hasn't arrived yet. If I'm lucky, I'll get to show you that makeover during Vlogmas. If not, it'll be for the new year, because everything is so back ordered. So that's part of why this room to me feels like so exciting to share with you in such a process, because so many of these things have arrived over the entirety of my pregnancy. So I was sitting here by the window Googling wallpapers when the house was empty, looking for different options and really struggling to find anything that I liked when I was like 3 months pregnant. So it's been quite a while, and it's really fun to see it come together. The other option that I had, I remember for this room that would have been actually busier, so I'm glad we went with something a little bit more peaceful and sort of avian, would have been a tiger print wallpaper with these kind of repeating, very geometric looking tigers, because she will be born in the year of the tiger. No matter which side of 2023 she is born on, she will be born in the year of the tiger. So that was something that I really liked the idea of. Been through the baby shopping process before. You'll know what a nursing pillow looks like, but if you think this is an odd decorative pillow, then that's why. They're supposed to be really useful. Little marble effect side table with a beautiful storybook, amongst others. I've been so lucky to have been gifted by friends and family. Over here is her little Hatch white noisemaker and 2 little piggy banks that I had when I was little that may or may not stay there depending on how much I need use of the side table. This crib is one of my proudest finds for this room, because cribs can get very, very pricey, up until, you know, almost $3K at some of the well-known large furniture retailers that are popular. But this one came from a highly recommended brand and was significantly less than that. I definitely recommend trying to get it on sale if you can. But many of the reviews just said that the detailing on it was really beautiful and that it was feminine without being overly flourished. And that's exactly what I loved about it. So I love the faux cane effect on this side, as well as the rounded bars and kind of softness of all the rounded edges of it, and the creamy white color that just looks really pretty and fresh and clean in this room. As you can see, I do have a variety of stuffed toys. To me, an empty crib is a little bit sad, so of course all of these will come out and maybe go on some simple floating shelves or something like that that we might install. For that side behind the chair, I can see myself doing a little bit more art, but I have something in the works for that that I'll share with you during Vlogmas. I hope to get to it. I may or may not, depending on when she comes, but I do think it looks nice even just with the cranes kind of flying around the room. It sort of, they catch your eye and your eye goes to the right with them. So I do love the way it looks right now without anything. But I think some shelving and at least one piece of art is likely. I love this space mobile that we got for her from Etsy. It has little extraterrestrial and spaceship elements going on with it, which I think breaks up the sort of bird motif of the room a little bit with something whimsical and fun. I love all of these little stuffies because each of them have sort of a sentimental attachment to them. This one, and the ones in the right hand corner, we have my favorite little penguin that I grew up with, are all really fond memories for me. This one is from the peninsula in New York, which used to give away little stuffies that were different creatures. So that's really fun for me because so many happy memories are attached. This one was my mom's lucky tiger, which is perfect for the year of the tiger for her. And then these guys over here were little gifts from friends and family. This one from my mom, and right next to it, this little beautiful aviation bear is from Grandma and Grandpa on Daddy's side. And this one is from her dad as soon as he found out we were having a little girl. It's one of those jelly cat little toys. That's really pretty. And right now I have crib sheets and a changing mat cover that are very, very neutral, but I also have a much louder, more romantic print set that I got, which then goes on both sides of the room and really makes the room more girly in a fun way. But I thought for this video I would just do the neutral. This is my husband's favorite as well, with the little pretty leaves on it. So the curtains I hemmed myself, and I'm really proud of how they turned out. I think they look really luxe for a really affordable price. And the sconce style lights I really love. They are intentionally very dim and actually add only a little bit of light to the room because I thought those would be good for nighttime, to have just a bit more of like a dim, sleepy kind of vibe going on. So we have different levels of brightness, and they also go warm or cool as well, which is a nice little sort of practical touch. Of course, I just saw so many wonderful reviews for this baby carrier that I had to get one, even though they're pretty pricey. There are many other options out there, but I loved the celestial print of this one with all the different constellations. So she has her lovely little artichoke carrier ready to go. As you can see, all of the accents are brass, and we've got little clip rings as well for a very sort of classic sort of look with the curtains. And I think having the bar really high up is really an excellent tip to make any window appear taller and the ceilings appear taller, and then have a nice width as well between the curtains, and get ones that are maybe a bit more fabric than what you actually need. Those are all kind of good tips that we picked out when we were figuring all of that out. On the ground, the carpet that this room has is nothing fancy. I considered a rug to cover the whole room up, but then the closet doors were really getting caught up on them, so I decided to really go simple and just do some really soft cloud-like sheepskins. These are the highest quality ones that I've found, and I really love the price to quality ratio for them. So there's one larger one and one smaller ones, just to mark the different areas and add a bit of softness. And if you've been through several homes with me, you might recognize this actually real vintage mid-century modern dresser, which I was very determined to use that as a changing table, even though theoretically it is the wrong size. It's too short compared to your average furniture changing table nowadays. But I'll show you a trick that we came up with that my husband just installed as one of the finishing touches to this room, which to me makes it perfect. So we have a little secret shelf back there that you can't see from here very well as one of these diaper pails that I'm told is an indispensable purchase, and was a gift from a friend as well, which was very sweet. So it's sort of one of those mysterious things that you don't understand why you really need until you have a baby, I think. One of my favorite things that was an early thing that I picked out for this room is this mirror with the cursive G initial for Gigi, if you haven't seen that vlog, which is her nickname, not going to be her legal name. and I just love it. I think it's so perfect with the style of the room. I love how the sconce reflects in it at some angles, and the size of it, and this whole little nook area is really cozy, I think, as well. So we have actually a few changing mats throughout the house, but this one is the one that I chose for her room so that you could have the crib sheet and this in matching fabrics. I thought that that was a really pretty option. And then she has all of her sort of basic onesies in here at different various sizes, sort of newborn and then 0 to 3 being the obvious sort of organization for that. And so this is our little secret floating shelf here, which is the perfect size. Her wipe warmer, which I'm told is really nice to have, as well as, you know, other little things that she'll need, like various butt creams and so forth that, you know, you might not actually want to have on show. And so it's a little bit sunk in for that reason, and I think it worked out really great, and it solved, you know, the practical problem of the dresser being otherwise a little bit small. And over here, these closet doors had the usual sort of bulbous shiny gold hardware on them, and I tried to switch most things in the room. If not, I think I got to everything, to more of a brushed brass. And I would say these are maybe technically a little bit small for a closet rather than a drawer, but I just love them because they reminded me so much of the Van Cleef and Art Pals jewelry designs with the enamel in the middle. So, and then I don't claim any sense of amazing organization with this closet. In many ways it still needs a lot of work, but her most kind of special clothing or gifts from people that are really special and a bit different, I've tried to make an effort to hang up. So from my friends in Vancouver, I have some beautiful outfits here. This is a Mommy and Me sweater that I got from Seraphine. This we got for her from our engagement vacation for her first sort of swimming lessons. Little coats and things from when I was little as well, which we're sort of lucky to have as neat mementos and other lovely little gifts with lots of little ears going on here as well, all very, very sweet. So I love looking at these things. It's nice to have them hung up, but by no means is everything perfectly organized. More storybooks up here. We might do some shelving eventually for these, but it's also nice to have them tucked away for now. For her crib, this is the other fabric that I selected that I think is really gorgeous, and it's from Posh Peanut, which is one of those brands, kind of like Eberge for pajamas, if you're familiar with that, that has that really soft jersey fabric. And then there's all of the Baby Frida kind of products to go on a shelf at some point. I have some Barbies. This one's from when my mom was little. This Audrey Hepburn one, of course, is from when I was little. And this one is wearing, this one was one of my favorite Barbies. I just loved her hair, and she's wearing a little wedding dress that my grandmother actually made for, I think, an Ariel dress that I had because I was really into the Little Mermaid, and she was a wonderful seamstress. She hand sewed all these pearls on it, so I wanted to sort of have that be accessible along with some other little toys. But the main thing being that she has her dresser here with lots of onesies and changing mat covers and little hats and socks and things like that, easily accessible for when she's changed in here. And then she has another set in our room in the cabinet that I described to you earlier, with more diapers and more sort of practical things to change her when we're in that room. So that's the funny thing, you know, about babies, is they end up having, I think, quite a few areas throughout the house. That's sort of what makes sense to me, so that you're not always running around. So not everything that belongs to her is in this room. So before I find more things to waffle on about in this video, I'm gonna let you go now, but I'm sure I will share more Gigi related things at some point during Vlogmas. So thank you so much for watching this particular installment and coming along on the final steps of our expecting the baby journey on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next installment on style. Bye.